Hi, everybody. How are you? I've had a little bit enough of the 3D world. Oops, excuse me, 1 second. No, I'll be all right. Anyway, I entitled this video, Are Your Eyes Deceiving You? Walk with me for a minute. Yeah, I haven't made a video in a while, and I've been kind of going through my own growth like everyone. And I've been kind of coming to some conclusions, and some realizations with some downloads. Uh, One of the things I wanted to share. Hi, Moonchild. How are you? Impromptu live. Uh, anyway, how do you see? Uh, I, I can't handle the 3D world anymore. I don't give a shit about the legal system, the bullshit, the deception of the laws. I don't care about all that. If it's important to you, it's going to keep it tied to the 3D. That's just plain and simple. You don't realize how heavy the 3D is on you. There's a gazillion problems and possibilities and an unlimited supply of pressure and bullshit associated with the 3D. Within spirituality, what do you have? Peace. It's quite simple. Yes, do we have to live here? Sure. Do I have to participate? Only in what I need and my necessities. I just can't take it anymore. And I know a lot of us, we're all growing at different levels. I get that. But I kind of came to this thing about how do you see? Are your eyes deceiving you? And in most cases, I want to say yes. Now, many of us in our community, we do see. We see beyond the bullshit. We see certain things. We have a knowing. We have intuition. We have downloads. We have communication with some of our angels, our spirits, and this is how we see. Let me get off the path for a second. But I mean, look, we all have an expiration date on us, all of us. I don't know when my expiration date is. Nobody knows. Um, but I'm still going to live. I'm still going to live. So keep that in mind. When you're worrying about the 3D, you're not living, you're enslaved. Everything about the 3D world is nothing but enslavement of the mind. It's not letting you grow, it's not letting you expand. Hey, Dauncey, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Um, but your mind, the 3D world, it's keeping us all back. It really is. I put my faith now within my faith and my belief. My belief for me is God. Okay. Uh, when I say God, is it the Bible? Um, there's still a lot of good things in the Bible. There's a whole lot I don't believe because they've just been liquidated down and watered down all the way. But let's get back to, are you seeing with your eyes? Are you seeing with your eyes or are you seeing with your faith? Are you going with what your heart tells you? Are you going with what you feel, what you pray to, what you get, what the angels tell you? Um, I've really been concentrating on my energy and my relation with my creator. Granted, this isn't religion. Please understand that. But I know that the 3D world is a million things of bullshit that let you worry, and yet spirituality is peaceful. I know where I'm putting my time. I'm putting my time into peaceful. But one of the things that we have to start seeing with our faith. We have to start seeing with our belief. And I'm sorry if you hear a little bit of noise in the background. That's the TV to keep the dogs from hearing the other dogs upstairs. Okay, so now many of us, there's a lot of people in the spiritual community. Let's go with the chakras. Let's go with the dimensions 3D, 4D, 5D, the whole way up. Let's go with the densities. All these densities, they're a little bit different than the 3D, 5D. Okay, so what is the, the path? Do I still tune into Janine? No, not at all. Sorry, Duncy. Uh, Not at all for that one. But anyway, as we're choosing the ones that are choosing the path with the chakras, the densities, I understand all of that also, but I've never seen it. Just like divine feminine, divine masculine, I've never seen it because I'm balanced. I don't see the hey Shirley, I don't see the chakras either. Okay, so let's do a little experiment here. What if the chakras and all these things like that, what if that's a construct for our mind or how we put things in order? Okay, but yet is that helping us attain spiritual enlightenment? Hey Terry, is that helping us attain spiritual enlightenment? Um, Going through the chakra systems and all that. I would say to a point. I would say there's enlightenment within that, but I see enlightenment several steps below spirituality. I see spirituality as freeing, complete freedom. My faith in my God, Creator. There's no worries. There's no rule book. There's no meditations with smelling senses and all these other things. So I have to ask: okay, is our path chosen for us, or do we choose our own path? And in this whole thing of how do we see? Are your eyes fooling you? Thank you. Um, here's the way I look at it. I actually do believe in my heart. Um, I don't see these levels of chakra, these levels of consciousness. I don't see them. All I see is I'm one of God's children. I see that I'm beyond that. I'm not subject to that. Even though I think it's very noble, I think it's very earthly, and I understand that it helps us expand our mind to get to a level of spirituality. However, what is beyond the chakras? What's there? What are we looking for? We're looking for God. Okay. Some people think, oh, well, we are gods. Okay. Let's just put your ego in check there. No one is a god. You're one of God's children. But do we choose our path or are we shown a path? Okay. When the good Lord comes and there's Armageddon and there's 1,000 years of peace, whichever, where are you going to be? Are you going to be ascended uh, and faithful to God? Or are you going to be ascending to your mind? And I think our mind locks us to this earth plane. If we can't think beyond this earth, beyond our limits, beyond our perception of limits, beyond the limits of our sight, we're not going to grow. I see now, and I've been doing it for a little over a month now. I see with my heart. I see with my faith. This is what I'm seeing with. I'm not seeing the world outside. I don't care. I don't give two shits who's president. I could care less about Trump, and I sure as hell could care less about sovereignty. Sovereignty is, I understand we all have it. Is it sovereignty in self? But I see sovereignty against the creator, if you will. I don't want to be sovereign over my God, or I don't want to consider myself sovereign within the realms of God. But I have to ask, do we choose a path or is it chosen for us? You know, a lot of people in the spiritual community, okay, you have a soul contract, and I do believe there is some merit to that. I really do. Do I believe it 100% fully? No. Do I believe it more than 70%? Yeah, I do. I know we've all come back here for something. What? I don't know. Usually it's to do God's work. But again, this video isn't for everyone. Um, but have we chosen our path or has it been designed for us? And if it was designed for us, did we choose a wrong way? How do you see it? Do you see it with your eyes or do you see it with your faith? Do you see it with your heart and soul? How do you envision that? We have to ask ourselves these things. These are questions. Okay, for instance, if you're a prayer person or a meditator, some people need the singing bowls, they need the music behind them. And I look at that as a ritual. Now, rituals are okay for some. It's not my thing. I don't do group prayer well. I don't do group meditation well. I can feel those energies of other people, and it's 1,000 people talking and vibrating at different levels. I just don't. Let's the old saying, "I don't play well with others." I don't when it comes to those things. If we can do an intent, in other words, we're praying, I'm praying for someone's health or I'm praying for someone's uh, misfortune and I'm praying for them to be better. Even then, it's hard for me to pray with people because we're all praying different ways and our vibrations are all different. Our energies are all over the place. It's hard for me to do it. So I do have to ask how are we actually seeing? Now there's a lot of people out there. You know, I do have my friends that are tarot readers and I love them to death and I think they are quite gifted and it is a belief of mine. I wish I could do it, but there are only a few out there that I believe are connected with angels and God. I think you know when it comes to the book, even if you're a Bible person, um, a lot of the men of faith and people in the Bible that have gotten their visitations from the angels and they're you know they're inspired by God to do things. How's tarot any different? I mean, yeah, there is some that's entertainment. I agree with it. You can if you can't feel that, then that's on you. But I think the majority of us can. Um, but you know, I mean, Jen, Delphine, Soldier, they're all quite gifted, and I know they're connected. I do. I can feel it. I know when I feel my angels. I know who they are. When I feel Yeshua, I know his what he feels like, what his vibration feels like. It's a personal thing for everyone. Hi, Nadia. It's a personal thing for everyone. But I do agree that there are a few gifted people out there like that. I don't see many beyond the ones I do because I'm no longer looking with my eyes. I'm looking with my heart. I'm looking with my faith. It's the small things. It's the everyday things that I look through. I'm no longer searching. Um, many of us, we all think to ourselves we're searching for something that's right in front of the mirror. for us. But I think ultimately we're searching for our creator, our source, our God. We're searching for him. And you're one of God's children. So realize that. The answer's in the mirror. Um, one of the other things I wanted to mention was when it comes to, yeah, where's it at? I have it here somewhere. Okay. Okay. Getting back to the densities and the dimensions that many of us in the spiritual community really are fixated on. I'm no longer fixated on these things because, I look at it this way: angels aren't subject to these things. Angels are creations of God. I'm a creation of God. I'm one of his children. I am not limiting myself to a 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever bullshit D. I'm not limiting myself to a density, a dimension. I'm one of God's children. And if he graces me, I can do anything, is the way I look at it. Two people in the Bible rose to the level of angels. Enoch being one of them. It's God took them in their human form, and made them an angel. To me, there's really nothing much greater than serving that. To be chosen for something like that. Why isn't that taught in our churches? Why isn't that taught in our religions, so-called religions, that we can achieve something so much higher? That's why I am no longer getting into this whole thing of dimensions, 3D, 5D. I can't see it, just like chakras. I can't see it. When my guides tell me that, I mean, we are limited by this body. We are. But we are not limited with our soul. And I even believe that our soul can overcome this body. So, and I give an example where this all kind of came up from is I just bought a book recently about Tartaria. And, in the Bible, the fallen angels were cast into Tartarus. Tartarus. The root word is Tartaria. And yet, we've all been searching for Tartaria. It's an interesting subject. We really think, are we searching for it, or are we being called to it? So here's where the deception in my mind comes from. Well, I think the fallen angels lost most of their powers and abilities. Can they not yearn? Can they not try and be found to escape from Tartarus? So I've kind of wiped that off my plate. I feel like that is a it's interesting. It is. It's interesting as hell. But I wonder why we want to know. Is it really knowledge, or are we being fooled to being deceived and being called by the fallen angels to release them in some respects, or to, I don't know, help them or do their bidding? I don't know. You know, in the Bible, and even in, I believe it's not sure if it's a Torah or a Quran, but Uriel was given as the guardian of Earth in Tartarus. In ancient Aramaic, that's how it's listed. Tartarus. Isn't that interesting? He was given dominion over the earth and the place where the fallen angels are imprisoned. I find that kind of fascinating myself. So anyway, I just wanted to ask you guys, how are you seeing? I mean, take this walk with me. How are you seeing? Are you seeing with the eyes of this flesh? Or are you seeing with your heart and your belief? I got to tell you, just even Samson of the Bible said he'd never seen more clearly until he lost his sight. I understand that now. I'm really seeing much more clearly because I'm getting rid of the outside world. Balance for me is 70+% spirituality, and the rest of the world when I have to interact with it. But I'd like you to walk with me on this journey as far as, you know, okay, we have talented readers, Jen, Delphine, Soldier, and I understand the questions and everything like that. But when you have someone that's so connected, don't limit yourself to give me a general reading. Why don't you ask yourself some tough questions? Why don't you ask questions of your faith? Why don't you ask questions of what you can do? And I know we all, I'm guilty of it. I agree. Some of us are blessed to have contacts with everyone or these people. Some of us have someone that they know. Hey, Kendra, good to see you, sweetie. How are you? But, and as Kendra mentioned, I don't go searching anymore um, on the internet. I'm when I'm doing something, I'm translating things in from ancient Aramaic. I'm trying to see their meanings of the words, trying to get past the deception of the world, and going to the source. Whether I mean, I think there's truths in the Bible, the Quran, and um, any of the Abrahamic religions, if you will. But we have to get to the real truth of it. And I find myself going through words and trying to understand the root because we are deceived in many respects of that. Um, but I would like you to walk with me on this. Like I said, is our path chosen for us, or do we choose a path? Um, Again, I think we can attain different levels of spirituality. Some of us go down the roads of chakras, all those levels, and we think enlightenment is the ultimate. It's not. Your enlightenment pertains to this earth. That's an earthly term. It's a biblical word. It's not used much because it has different meanings. But I think ultimately, even when we're searching for enlightenment, we're searching for the Creator. So do yourself a favor. Start walking within your faith. You know, when okay, and I'm not trying to bash anybody, but when you have a gifted card reader, um, be specific, more specific with your questions. General questions. Give me a reading for, the general reading, or give me a reading for 3 months. Okay, I'm sorry, but that's entertainment. That's entertainment. That's a waste of someone that is really has a connection. I understand we can't get past this, but we have to start thinking a little bit differently. We have to start thinking on a mature level in many respects. Now, hey, Mary Jean, how are you, dear? Um, if you get a chance, go back and listen to the part about Tartarus. You'll find it interesting, I think. But one of the things I did want to mention, you know, when this all comes down, when we go through our 1,000 years of peace, you don't think all the truth is going to come out? You don't think the holy books are not going to be are going to go away? They're going to be written as they were once again. And do you not think they're going to write about this time? They are going to write about this time right now. This will be added to the next set of holy books. Where did we put our faith? How did the people come about to it? How did the people attain their level with their creator? I mean, most of us have some form of gifts. Some of us doubt our gifts that we even have. I wish you could see you all through my eyes. You know it, you feel it, and I was there. I was a little scared to say it, but you got to start believing in it. You can't. We. This is not a time to talk the talk. This is the time to start walking your talk and eventually walking the actual walk. You cannot second guess yourself any longer. You cannot worry about what your neighbor thinks or what your wife thinks or any of the bullshit of the world. You have to now leave, lead. You have to start walking within your faith. I know most of us don't like the 3D. We have to tolerate it because we live here. But there's so much that we are capable of. But I and again, I think the chakras limited us, and in many respects, you could look at it as a double-edged sword. Is it created to keep us within this hierarchy of spirituality, of a false hope, just like religion? I think religion is a cancer in many respects, but the belief, that's the real stuff. Are the chakras the real stuff, or is it, in other words, another way of you saying, "I am sovereign. I'm gonna nail myself to the ground here on this earthly plane." I don't want to say I'm sovereign in front of the Lord, in front of the God. Holy, holy, holy. Oh, I'm sovereign. I don't think that'll go over real well. Just saying. But yeah, and you're right, Nadia. I talk with Nadia quite a bit. The truth is within you. You just have to believe. You know, several weeks ago, since Nadia's here, several weeks ago, I did a video, and Nadia sent me a couple screenshots of stuff that kind of was hard for me to understand. But anyway, there was words on my forehead. There was a cross. There was a shield and a sword. The 333. It actually wasn't just 333. It was actually how it's written, how Yahweh is written. It was meant for both. It was alive, and I turned it to a video because I just couldn't believe it. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. And you know, without the people that have been in my life, I I would still be doubting. I'm no longer doubting. Yeah, I'm not one to quote scripture either, Moonchild. I know. Look, every one of those holy books out there have something, and they still have some truths. They really do, but they've been so manipulated by man and the church and the system. You have to. I mean, I can read some of it and go, "Well, that's bullshit. That's used." I can feel that now because my faith, my heart can feel it. We have to start standing within our truth. Nadia helped me with that. Jen helped me with that. Delphine. But we really have to start literally not just believing, but believing in ourselves. Okay, there are going to be some of us that are going to do wonderful and great things. That doesn't make you any less special. You're here to witness. You're here to participate. You're not judged on your deeds. You're judged on how you treat your life, how you manage your love. The term of how you're weighed. You know, the weight is light, is how you pass. The heaviness is the world and the darkness. You have to really start walking within your faith. Again, I'm not talking religion. God is God. You want to call him creator, source, knock yourself out. It's the same thing. Okay, just like religion. They're arguing about who's God's greater. It's the same God. It's just God. But anyway, and you're right, we all do carry the light. It's not that just we carry the light. We carry, we carry God within us. We are a reflection of his creation. But anyway, I hope that makes sense to some of you. I'm sorry I'm banging, but there's a little bit more I want to talk about, but I just got it's not time yet. They'll let me know when. But anyway, love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.